Hello, welcome. In today's video I'm going to give you 10 affordable lenses to use for Leica Elmar, and that can be using it on Leica cameras or on non-Leica cameras such as Fuji, for example. Stay with me, I'll include some vintage lenses, some current production lenses, and if you stay with me until the end I'll include one bonus Leica Elmar autofocus lens for those of you using any Elmar cameras. Hey guys, Matt here from MrLeica.com. So before we start, if you saw my last video, I owe some of you Fuji guys an apology. I made a video talking about Fuji being overpriced. I was referring to the current price of the Fuji X Pro 3. I titled the video, Fuji is overpriced, and I then went on to say for the same amount of money you can get a Leica camera. But what I got completely wrong was the fact that one, you can get cheaper Fuji cameras, such as the X-T2 you may have seen in the video itself, and second, you can get much cheaper lenses for Fuji cameras than the ones I quoted in the video. So I stand by my overall message that you can buy Leica cameras for the same price as the Fuji X Pro 3, but I understand that the Fuji X Pro 3 is unusually high price compared to most of the Fuji cameras, so Fuji is still better value than Leica to the most part if you're trying to get best bang for your buck and the most features really. With that, let's now look at 10 affordable lenses, and you can use them on both Fuji cameras via an adapter and of course Leica cameras. Spoiler alert, Leica Elmar lenses are manual focus only, so if you love your autofocus or modern perfect lenses, this is probably not the video for you. Okay, lens number one, the Canon 50mm f1.8 Leica screw mount lens. This has got a focus lock, it's a nice small size for the lens, and it's a 1 meter close focus distance. This is a very sharp lens for the money, and it's often found on my Leica screw mount cameras. Shoot this even wide open or f2 and you're going to get really sharp, nice results. I have done a full video on this lens, as of most lenses in this video. Here you can see the lens on other cameras, Bess's, Canon lenses, Canon camera should I say. And here are some example photos. This is film. This is also film. These are shot with a Leica M3. I normally shoot wide open or f2, often using this lens at low light at probably 1/6 of a second, ISO 100 to 400. There you can see the bokeh from this lens. In terms of price, this lens is under £200, so I think it's an absolute bargain. Our second lens is the Leica Elmar 5cm f3.5 or 50mm. It's got a bit of a quirky aperture scale on the front that maybe you love or hate, and it's fully collapsible, making this the smallest lens for Leica that I'm aware of. Some of the MS optics are also quite small, but this one is very small. There you can see the size compared to a 50mm Summlux 1.4. Here you can see the lens where it's normally found, which is on a Leica 3 camera or a Leica standard camera. I've got multiple copies from the different cameras that I've bought over the years, and they're all great. Shoot it wide open, you're going to get sharp results like this. This is shot on digital. It is taking this photo, and then these are shot on film if you like running like me or cycling. Because this lens is so small, it fits in the bag. Price wise, just over £200 average price. Number three, the Leica Elmar, now 9cm or 90mm f4. This is still a small lens in lens size, but it's obviously bigger than the 50mm. It's long, thin and pretty lightweight. This is a screw mount lens, same as the previous lenses, but you can fit to your M cameras via a screw mount to M adapter. They can see the lens on the camera. This is on a screw mount camera with a 90mm viewfinder. That's a result shooting it wide open. I often use this on a Leica SL camera or M mount camera. SL is probably easier for lenses longer than 50mm, but it's personal preference. It's normally a lower contrast lens, but with a bit of tweaking in Lightroom, add a preset and just adjust the sliders, and you can get very contrasty looking images. Price under £100 a steal. Number four, this lens is even cheaper. This is the 135mm f4 Elmar. This is a long lens, probably the longest lens I've got for Leica in terms of end mount lenses. And 135mm is not normally a popular focal length for Leica, making it quite cheap. I love the compression that you get from a longer lens, as you can see here, shot on a M240 I believe. And if you use close focus adapters, it's also great for macro, such as flower photography. I used to do this before I started shooting portraits. Here's some example photos. These are shot with a Leica M9 I believe. I've had this lens a long time, but being cheap, it was one of the first lenses I got when I first got into Leica. Price £125 average. Next, number 5, the Jupiter 8 50mm f2. This is the second cheapest, I believe, of the lenses we're going to look at, and probably a must-have as a first lens if you've just bought a Leica camera and can't afford anything else. Just make sure you buy the screw mount one because it also comes in Contax RF mount. Here you can see the results. These are shooting the lens on the Leica M240, I believe, or maybe on film. This is shooting the Jupiter 8 on the Leica SL. Because it's a sonar design, you're going to get a really nice kind of bubbly bokeh if that's your thing. So if you're shooting outside, you will get results like this. I like it on digital. This lens can be had for around £40. Bargain.
What are you filming a vid?
Filming a vid.
No, were you filming one just now? Cool.
Next up at number 6, another Soviet lens, the Jupiter 9 85mm f2. Often found in either silver or black. These are such an arty kind of painterly lens at such a great price. Minimum focus distance 1.15 meters. Obviously maximum aperture of f2. Again, this comes in screw mount or Contax RF mount, so make sure you buy the right mount if trying to get it for Leica. Here you can see the result shooting this lens wide open. It's absolutely fantastic for female portraits that I shoot. Most of my teaching is female portraiture, and so I just love lenses where it just does all the editing for you, and kind of out of camera you get amazing photos. These have been edited with my presets, but amazing results, and it can be yours for under £200. Number 7, again another Soviet lens. This is also an amazing kind of arty lens. This is the Jupiter 12 35mm f2.8. The Jupiter 12 has also got the aperture on the front element, which makes it a bit quirky and a bit annoying if using filters, and it's also got a really large rear element, meaning it won't fit all cameras. It does fit like M cameras, but it doesn't fit cameras like Bess's and a few of the others, so do check before buying. Here's some example photos. It can be great for portraits. It's again, as I mentioned, like more of an arty lens, but you can get sharp, normal kind of looking results if you shoot in kind of flatter lighting. But if you shoot at the light, that's when the fun really starts. In terms of price, this can be found for under £100, and I love it as an arty lens. Coming in at number 8, this is a more recent lens, the TTArtisan's 50mm f1.1. This seems to be overlooked by many or just not even considered, but it focuses to 0.7 meters. It's smaller and lighter than most of the other fast lenses, and with a 1.1 aperture and a sonar design, this lens kicks butt when it comes to portrait lenses. I'm a big fan of fast 50s for my female portraits. If you've seen this channel before, 50mm is my favourite focal length and most used, and so a fast 50 is even better. These photos are shot with the Leica M10, but I also enjoy this lens on a Leica M3 for film cameras and a Leica SL for easy focusing with a mirrorless camera. In terms of price, this lens again under £200, really good if you can get one. Number 9, the TTArtisan 28mm f5.6, quite possibly the best built like TTArtisan lens made for Leica. I think this lens is absolutely brilliant. I've got 2 copies. It does have a limited maximum aperture of f5.6, but if you're stopping down for say street photography anyway, 5.6 is more than fast enough. It's small, it's easy to use a little focus tab, and it's got a close focus distance of 1 meter. Here you can see the rendering for street photography. This is the rendering on digital, and this is the rendering shooting it on film. And don't limit yourself to street photography. This is 28mm portraits shot with the TTArtisan on the Leica SL. So often people think that wide lenses can't be for portraits, but if you check out my coming ebook, I tell you everything you need to know about model photography. Quick plug. In terms of the price, you can find this lens for under £200. Finally, at number 10, another current production lens, the Voigtlander Scope 35mm f2.5. I think this is the smallest current production 35mm for Leica M mount. Close focus distance of 0.7 meters. This lens just disappears onto the front of your camera, and it's got the modern focus tab as well, giving you a really small, compact setup, whether it's travel or street or anything you want to do. There you can see the size compared to other Voigtlander lenses. Check out my other videos for all the different Voigtlander lenses. And here you can see the lens in action. This was probably one of my most used lenses when I was using the M240 for portraits. I use it pretty much on the camera permanently at f4 for quite a period when my rangefinder was not attached to calibration. As mentioned, I tend to be more of a 50mm guy these days, so I haven't used this lens for quite a while, but I keep it for those occasions when I just want a small, sharp enough 35mm setup with modern rendering, and yeah, great bang for the buck lens. In terms of price, this lens is under £300, so more expensive than the ones mentioned. So that is a quick roundup of 10 of my maybe favourite and most used affordable lenses for Leica M-mount, including obviously Leica M-mount and LTM Leica screw mount. I'm just checking my list on my laptop. I've actually got 15 lenses I could share with you. Okay, let's do a few more. So coming up, here are 5 additional affordable lenses for Leica M-mount. First, we have the Voigtlander Color Scope R 21mm f4 lens. This is the sister lens to the 35mm already mentioned. Similar design, similar size, and similar modern focus tab. The only issue with this lens is it does have colour shift and kind of purple edges if you're shooting colour on some of the Leica M-mount cameras, so do be a bit careful before buying this lens. On film I've not had as much of a problem, and obviously I shoot mostly black and white, so I keep this lens because I'm a black and white shooter, and so colour shift is not really an issue. This small lens is absolutely amazing for travel because of the size. I use it for cycling, for overseas kind of street photography trips. I use it on the M cameras and on the SL. This is on the SL. This is probably on the SL as well. The few before with an M240. And you can even use 21mm for portraits if you're a Fuji guy or anyone with an APS-C camera. 21mm gives you 28mm-ish equivalent, so it's cool for portraits too. Price under £200. Number 12, one of the cheapest lenses, I think the cheapest in the test. This is the Industar 50mm or 5cm f3.5. This has also got the quirky aperture scale on the front. It's collapsible, the same as Leica Elmar. And if you see both lenses side by side, it is pretty much a Leica Elmar 5cm f3.5 clone. See the video I did comparing these lenses side by side, they're not that different. He can see some results shooting on film. They can see me shooting on a Leica 3 camera, and that's also on a close focus adapter to get even closer. And these were just a few test shots when testing the lens after I just bought it, or maybe film testing a new camera. Price under £30. Next up, this lens is for anybody that loves the idea of having a Leica Summar 50mm 1.4 but can't quite afford it at this stage. This is the TTArtisan 50mm 1.4, and it's a bit of a Leica clone, and it probably does 80-90% of what the Summar does on a huge budget. You've got the same modern focus tab, you've got the same 0.7m close focus distance, and if you see the full video, it can actually give you really nice results. Definitely probably the best bang for the buck 51.4 if you want to take M-mount lens for your Leica camera. Nice rendering, it can flare, but you can use that to your advantage in certain situations, and I found it quite a fun lens to play with. Price, this is I think one of the most expensive in the list, £300. Number 14, another vintage lens. This is the Leica Summar 50mm or 5cm f2. This is the newest lens for me, and I got it to use with my Leica 3 cameras especially, but also on my Leica M3. See the recent review I did recently. If you shoot this lens wide open, it's sharp enough in the center, but as you stop down, the edges get sharper too, and it's got a really nice kind of arty look. Sorry, that's a hole in the shutter. And here you can see what it does to the bokeh. You're not going to get this kind of bokeh and rendering from a modern lens, and that's why I just love so much these vintage lenses. I know some people prefer corner to corner sharpness and super round bokeh balls, but this is the lenses that I like. In terms of price, under £250. Finally, at number 15, the Voigtlander Nokton 35 1.4. The lens I'm showing you here is the 40mm Nokton Classic, not the 35mm. They both look pretty much the same. They've both got the modern focus tab and 0.7m close focus distance. This one's actually got a 3D printed black nose cover. If you want a link to that, I'll put a link to it below. It just makes it a bit more stealthy using it on a black camera. He can see it on a Best RAW too, and they can see the size compared to both the Scope R, the Ultron and the 1.2 Nokton. This is a very popular lens for M6 shooters. It seems popular on eBay. There are 2 versions, the early version as shown here, and then the later version, the V2. The early version is known to have focus shift, but it's not going to be an issue if you use mirrorless cameras such as the SL, and it's not going to be an issue if you shoot it wide open like I was doing when I was using it on my Leica M2, for example. Cost wise, the most expensive in the list, £350. Here's my quick top tip for vintage rangefinder lenses. Most vintage lenses have a close focus distance of 1 meter, which you're limited to on screw mount cameras and M mount cameras. However, if you use L mount cameras such as the Leica SL, get yourself the Light Lens Lab helicoid close focus adapter, LTM adapter. This lets you close focus all M and LTM lenses on a L mount camera, and you can get around 50% closer. And if you want to see full reviews on any of the lenses mentioned, either click the link below or check the full list of lenses on the MrLeica.com blog. I think I've done 450 plus videos now, so I've done quite a few lens reviews. Now, I didn't forget, as promised, if I needed to recommend one autofocus lens for L mount, it would definitely be the Panasonic Lumix 50mm f1.8 to use on something like the Leica SL, Leica CL, Lumix S5, cameras like that. This lens is lightweight, it is sharp enough wide open, and then I use a mist filter. I'll put a link below to the mist filter. If you want a more arty look or a more usable look, it's a bit too modern for my liking. There you can see the size difference compared to the lenses mentioned. As you can probably tell from my other videos, I generally prefer manual focus metal and glass lenses, but sometimes plastic fantastic lenses can be good, and it can be useful to have autofocus on occasion if you want to use the camera one-handed, for example, and then use a light mod in your other hand. Again, check out my various ebooks or workshops for more info on this. Here you can see the results. Some of these are with a mist filter, and here you can see the colours from this lens. It can be sharp and modern if that's the look you like. £150, I think that's an absolute bargain. Thanks as always to my amazing patrons, and see you in the next video. To watch full reviews of any of the mentioned lenses, links below, and here are the playlists.